Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Here's what's happening today in America. Trump in court. Caucus coming up. Lloyd Austin has cancer. And NASA delayed. That's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. But first, Donald Trump in court again. This is the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. He is arguing that the January 6th charges should be dismissed because of presidential immunity. Trump's lawyers argued that he can only be tried criminally if he's first convicted by the Senate in an impeachment hearing. And he was, in fact, acquitted in a Senate hearing. His argument is Article 1, Section 3, Clause 7, judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than removal from office and disqualification to hold any future office. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to the law. The idea is after the Senate conviction. This says that the Senate can't put someone in prison, but after the conviction and the removal from office, Trump or whoever can be held liable in a criminal trial. We'll see what this court and ultimately the Supreme Court says. The Iowa Caucus coming up on Monday in Des Moines. It's going to be negative 13 degrees, negative 13 with 20-mile-per-hour winds. Since 1972, only 3 people who won the Iowa Caucus went on to win the party's nomination and the presidency. Jimmy Carter in 1976, Obama in 2008, and George W. Bush in 2000. We were told the other day that the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin went for an elective surgery and was in the hospital for 3 days, never informed the White House. Turns out he was being treated for prostate cancer and had complications from that treatment. They say they have early detection and an excellent prognosis, but nobody knew that he wasn't able to serve as defense secretary. The spokesperson for the Pentagon says that Biden still has complete confidence in his defense secretary, plans to keep him on the job, but did admit, quote, it is not optimal for a situation like this to go on as long as it did without the commander-in-chief knowing about it. At least they admitted that. NASA announced they are delaying its crewed mission to the moon for 1 year. Artemis 2 was scheduled to send 4 astronauts for a lunar flyby this year before returning to Earth. And then Artemis 3 was going to send 4 astronauts to the moon in 2025. Well, they're pushing it back. They discovered battery issues and challenges with a component that controls air ventilation and temperature control. We haven't sent a crew to the moon since 1972. Somehow we were able to figure it out with the computing power of 1972, and we just can't figure it out now. I'm Mike Slater from the podcast Politics by Faith. The great Bill O'Reilly has your message of the day. Next.
Our freedoms should never be taken for granted. They must be cherished, protected, and defended. When corporations pander to the liberal agenda, they must be punished. When corporations stand up for conservative values, they should be supported. This brings me to Freedom 2.0, the bottled water company that proudly represents us. They have hilarious sayings on each bottle like, this water ain't woke, and bottled with liberal tears. Use the code BILL for a 15% discount and subscribe to Freedom 2.0. We must never discount freedom, but we can discount water as long as you use the code BILL. Please visit freedom20.com to order now. That's freedom, the number 2, the letter O.com. Freedom20.com. Use code BILL for 15% off. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Wednesday, this week on Monday, was the 1-year anniversary of President Biden's only visit to the besieged southern border. He stayed 4 hours. He did not hold a press conference. My belief, based on Mr. Biden's dreadful immigration policy, is that he could not care less that more than 10 million foreign nationals have swarmed across the border on his watch. I guess he sees himself as some kind of humanitarian or something. But what about the record amounts of narcotics also flowing across the southern border? Is that humanitarian, Mr. President? Hundreds of thousands of dead drug users? The cold truth is, Joe Biden is incompetent. We've seen this before. President Jimmy Carter from 1976 to 80 was a disaster. But Mr. Biden is far worse because the stakes in America are much higher now. Yet, if the election were held tomorrow, Joe Biden would still get millions of votes. Why? Because we have incompetent citizens. That's why. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. Okay, let's go to the mail. I hope I'm saying this name of this town correctly. Plaquemine, Louisiana. Okay, it's in Cajun country. Jerry Oldman. Bill, you said it again last night that Nancy Pelosi stopped the National Guard from coming in on January 6th after Trump requested it. For the third time, I have asked you, why hasn't she been subpoenaed to answer for that? Jerry, for the 91st time, I will tell you, no one in the Biden administration is going to do that, and the House committees don't want any publicity about January 6th. It's death for Republicans. So who on earth would subpoena Nancy Pelosi? And she'd say the same thing she said 15 times before. I never got the request. Elizabeth, no, MAGA people are not looking for revenge. We want Trump back because we need him to fix the economy and the chaos overseas. Okay, Elizabeth, I mean, opinions are opinion. If you don't think some MAGA people want revenge on the progressives, okay. Mike Meskimin, Lake Placid, Florida. It doesn't really matter what Joe Biden does or doesn't do. The far left will not allow Joe to quit or any other Democrat to run. No one will serve them better than Joe. But if he's defeated, then everything crumbles. But you're right about he's a willing captive of the progressive left. Bill Taylor, Leaf River, Illinois. Hey, Bill, I have a question that many viewers may have. Why doesn't the Democratic Party have a primary like the GOP? Why isn't anyone running against Biden? Because they don't have the money. You got to have a lot of money to formulate primary challengers to an incumbent president. There's not a Democrat political action committee in the world going to give you money to challenge Biden. It's expensive to run. That's why. In a moment, something you might not know. If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or have no warranty at all, listen up. Car Shield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that's now available to the public. Save on out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. So please call Car Shield now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. 800-925-7584 for a free quote. Drivers who activate the vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. So please call for your free quote, 800-925-7584, 800-925-7584. Hey, what do you have to lose? 800-925-7584. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. On this day in 1776, writer Thomas Paine published a pamphlet called Common Sense. For the first time, a clear argument for American independence was put into print. Here is the story. Born 1737 in England, Paine moved to Philadelphia at the invitation of Benjamin Franklin. In January 1776, Paine released one of the most important documents in Western civilization. Common Sense was published in 4 different chapters. The first section argued for a representative form of government, not a king. The second claimed monarchies violate natural law because, quote, all men are equal. Third chapter advocated for the total separation between Great Britain and the colonies. And the last part of Common Sense emphasized American exceptionalism. Thomas Paine believing an independent nation could become a global superpower within a century. Well, it took a bit longer than that. The pamphlet was an instant hit, especially in Massachusetts. The work is widely credited with persuading reluctant colonists that a divorce from the crown was not only preferable, but inevitable. Thomas Paine went on to fight in the American Revolution, then worked in the Second Continental Congress on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And here's something else you might not know. While history has been kind to Thomas Paine, he was not very popular among his peers. He died alone in New York City at the age of 72. Just 6 people showed up for his funeral. His official obituary read, Thomas Paine, he did some good and much harm, unquote. Even in death, old Tom didn't catch a break. 10 years after his burial, a crazed journalist named William Cobbett dug up Paine's body and shipped the corpse to England. Paine spent the next decade inside a trunk in Cobbett's attic. After that crazy man died, the bones of Thomas Paine disappeared. So his final resting place is a mystery. Back after this.
Do you want more online safety and privacy? I know I do. That's why I started using NordVPN. It guards me against various internet threats. Digital trackers, malicious websites, and malware-infected downloads? Back off. I choose to browse with more confidence. I choose NordVPN.
To avoid digital threats, turn on NordVPN. It's trusted by millions of users. Just visit NordVPN.com. One of the fastest VPNs on Earth will block web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. It will also encrypt your internet traffic while maintaining a smooth connection. So improve your digital privacy and protection against hackers with one simple click. Get the special deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.